Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Yo Nityam Achyutabadam Bhujagmarukma Vyamo Hatastatitarani Trinaya Mene Asmadguroho Bhagavato Siddhaeka Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charano Sharanam Prapadye. यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण द्वैतवासना प्रमुच्यते बोधात्मकाय नमस्तस्मै भगवते श्रीरमणमहर्षये हृदाकाशे सदा भान्तं शान्तम् आनन्दरूपिणं ज्ञानभाणमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं श्रीसत्यसायिनं ममन्तर्यामिनं सच्चिदानन्दस्वरूपं हृद्यस्तीति सदा भाति प्रियं निखिलनिगमार्थसारं यस्य सुरमुनिजनवन्द्यपदाब्जद्वन्द्वं भक्तचित्ताभिरामं यत्तप्रसरति परिमल प्रेम प्रवाहं तमेव मम सर्वं विहरति प्रशान्तिनिलये साक्षात् ब्रह्मतत्त्वम् जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेषु अभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्म प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वर सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातराजुहावपुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि यस्वानुभावम् अखिलश्रुतिसारमेकमध्यात्मदीपमतितितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाकपुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुम् उपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् कस्मै येन विभासितोऽयमतुलं ज्ञानप्रदीपः पुरा तद्रूपेण च नारदाय मुनये कृष्णाय तद्रूपिणां योगीन्द्राय तदात्मनाथ भगवद्राताय कारुण्यतत्तच्छुद्धं विमलं विशोकममृतं सत्यं परं धीमहि नामसङ्कीर्तनं यस्य सर्वभावप्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परं कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय श्रीगोविन्दाय नमो नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय श्रीगोविन्दाय नमो नमः सर्वत्र गोविन्दनामसङ्कीर्तनम् Vidura meets with Maitreya Mahamuni and humbly submits to him his questions. Having seen and lived for a long time in the world, having been in the political capital of the ancient kingdom of Hastinapura, having seen so much, having heard enough about Dharma, having spoken enough Dharma to Dhritarashtra, after having done all of that, Vidura finds himself at a crossroads, which is what all humanity is also at, except that most people do not realize it. Vidura has realized it. Sukhaya karmani karoti lokam. Everybody is working in order to be happy. Whatever it is that they are doing is only done so that they may be happy. But the reality is very different. They are neither happy nor have they been able to keep sorrow at bay. In such a situation, what is it that we should be doing? What are we doing wrong? What should we be doing instead? Maitreya Mahamuni answers and says, all the actions that we do in this world are naturally filled with sorrow and pain only, because whatever action you do right now, you are doing in your life, is because of your past karma. Karma, the word karma means not just the karma phala. Nowadays, when we use the word karma, we are referring to karma phala, fruit of the action. Karma is action, karma phala is the fruit of the action. What is the fruit of the action? We think that enjoyment or suffering is the fruit of action. Action itself is the fruit of action. Not merely enjoyment and suffering, action itself is a fruit of action. The actions that you have done in the past are why you are doing your current actions. Otherwise, you will not be doing these actions, you will be doing something else. Do you understand? For instance, you are all sitting here listening to Saptaham. This is an action. This is not merely the fruit of an action, this itself is an action. Sitting and listening is an action. Why are you sitting and listening here instead of doing something else? Because the actions that you have done in the past of punya have resulted in currently this action, which is then giving rise to the experience of that enjoyment of anubhuti. Isn't it? Do you understand? Without coming here and sitting, you will not get this experience. Even though the experience can be called as the fruit of action, but still here in this case, the action of sitting itself needs to happen prior to getting the joy of listening to satsang. That action, why did that action happen? That is also a fruit of a previous action. So karma, action cannot bring joy or sorrow to us, because action itself is a result of another action. The jadam nu solram. Karma is jadam. So if you are going to depend on something jada, inert, to understand the conscious, it is not possible. Brahmam is the consciousness, Bhagavan is consciousness, karma is jadam. Using karma, however, you are ever going to attain ananda, Bhagavan in the form of ananda. Using actions, we cannot attain God. Inge, Vidura is not talking about attaining God, he is only saying sukham, being happy. But happiness is God. There is no distinction. Anandam na Bhagavan. If you have God, you will be happy. If you are sad, you don't have God. With God with your side, how can you be sad? Logically. If you are ever sad, you are not having any communion with Bhagavan. Bhagavan pakatla illa anartham. So then, what should we do instead? That is where Maitreya Muni starts by giving first the Jnanopadesham, which was the same thing that Shukha gave to Parikshit already. We saw that in the Dvitiya Skandam. The same story is repeated by Maitreya Muni also to Vidura. How Brahma did the tapas and found the Lord and all that stories. That is one way. What is the next way? The next way is Parikshit also asked Shuka. In reply, Shuka diverted him to this story. Here is where it starts. Vidura also asked the same question. The answer to Vidura also was the same. One is the means of finding the truth through tapasya. The other is through kathashravanam, listening to the stories of the Lord. And by listening to those stories, what will happen? You will fall in love with Him. The more you listen to His gunas, the more you listen to His attributes, then naturally you will be enchanted by those gunas and you will fall in love with Him. Here we don't have to do much effort, He will do the rest of the work here. His qualities are such, His stories are such that they will naturally attract the mind. Naturally you will start wanting to listen more and more, and as you listen more and more, you will fall in love with Him. It is the natural progression. We don't have to do much effort in this. So this is the easy second part, that stories start. What kind of stories? Ellam Bhagavan's Leelas. Bhagavan's Leelavataras. Bhagavan took so many avatars, did so many different actions. Brahman, it is still no actions touch it. It is beyond the pale of the mind, of the senses, and so on. And when we have also transcended all of those, then we can easily understand this Brahman and remain as that Brahman, which is what we actually really truly are even now. But for that, we've got to evolve to that state, only then we can understand it. Since we have not evolved to that state, what is the means? Brahman, as I said, comes down and adopts all these qualities, adopts these senses. Brahman also adopts these Mayayopata Vigraham. Out of his own Maya, using his own Maya, he also takes on a form. Could be human, could be other than human also. And he takes a form, and once he takes a form, he is also performing actions using that form. And as he performs all of those actions, we've got something to think about, contemplate upon. This is the purpose. Bhagavan endhukku avataram pandrarna paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Bhagavan says in the Gita, I incarnate age after age. Sambhavami appadinu solrom. Appadina I produce myself. I produce myself, I become. By my own wish, I take up forms for 3 reasons. Adile he is given a certain order of performance of those 3 reasons. One, paritranaya sadhunam, in order to protect the sadhus. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, in order to put an end to the evil and evildoers. 3, in order to establish dharma. The 3 things in the order la pandram Bhagavan. Bhagavad Gita Bhagavan says this, but specifically in this order only he says it. First, sadhu rakshanam, sadhu poshanam, dushta nigraham. Sishta rakshanam, dushta nigraham, apna dharma samsthapanam. Why that particular order? If Bhagavan's only aim was to put an end to evildoers, he can do it wherever he is. He doesn't have to come and take an avatara to do it. Wherever he is, he can do it. He's got that Shakti, he's got that capacity, he's got the power to do it. Protection of the virtuous also can be done from wherever he wants to be, but then the virtuous, the sadhus will not feel happy if they do not see Bhagavan. Protect me, I will give you food, I will give you clothing, I will give you shelter. Sadhus are not happy with that. If they are happy with that, then they are not sadhus. Roti, kapada or makhan, everybody can get it. I have not taken to the path of spirituality merely for getting food, clothing and shelter. I have taken to this path to be able to see you, to have an interaction with you, to know you, to love you. Bhagavan has to come down for their sake and present himself in front of them. Why? They have not yet evolved to such a state where they can see him and feel him without the senses. Sadhus aval, jnanis illa. They have not reached the state of jnana, but at the same time they have bhakti. And the bhakti kaha Bhagavan takes that, understands their limitations and then takes on those very limitations upon himself and comes in such a way that they can enjoy him. Adha avatara mahatmya. And by doing so, what does he do? He uplifts them and then takes them to such a state where they do not need to depend on these anymore. The descent of God is for the ascent of man. God descends so that man may ascend. God comes down to man's level so that man may ascend to God's level. And then does not require any more of the senses and the mind, etc. He simply remains as himself. And the sthiti kondu povarthukka. This is sadhu rakshanam. Na rakshanam gadhu idha artham. Paritranam abdiyanna to protect. Trana abdina to protect. Paritranam na specially protect in artham aayadu. Paringra shabdam. Why specially protect? What is the special protection? Normal protection against all the worldly problems is ordinary protection. That is not what he gives them. Instead, he gives them higher protection, greater protection, protection from bhava bhayam itself. How does he do that again? Either he can destroy that which causes fear to them, or he can entrance them so much that they forget those things that are causing fear to them. There's something causing fear to me, what can that can be destroyed. Or I can become so much in love with him that I forget about all of those things. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm only engrossed in him. That is one method. This is the method Bhagavan usually chooses. But at the same time, Vinashaya cha dushkritam, he also comes and destroys all the evil. And then all these asura samharam happens, Rakshasas are killed and so on. Or asura buddhi is killed in people. Evil tendencies are also destroyed and uprooted in people. Adum Bhagavan is doing it. Finally, dharma samsthapanam. If these two are done efficiently, then dharma is automatically protected. And what is the dharma that Bhagavan also wishes to protect? Not the worldly dharmas, not the samanya dharma, not the ordinary dharma of the world. Satyam dharmam chara adilla. Adu pandrathu Bhagavan pravenda. Bhagavan doesn't have to come to protect that useless dharma. Why do I say it's useless? It is also useful. You have got to do that dharma so that ultimately you will reach the position where you can kick that dharma and get rid of it. Sarva dharman parityajya is the ultimate aim. Getting rid of all dharmas is the ultimate aim. But you cannot get rid of all dharmas without first practicing dharma. You cannot get rid of dharma without first practicing dharma. Idathan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa would refer to it as Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. Vidya Maya, Avidya Maya. Rendume Maya tha. Yesterday we spoke about arrogance and humility. Arrogance is also ego, humility is also ego, but arrogance is what we call as Avidya Maya, humility is what we call as Vidya Maya. Vidya Maya na enna appadina, that Maya which leads us to liberation is called Vidya Maya. That Maya which leads us further into bondage is called Avidya Maya. Appo asuric tendencies and divine tendencies, tendencies, gunas as such are all still within the realm of Maya, but of that, Vidya Maya is definitely better than Avidya Maya. Appo that is the dharma that Bhagavan is trying to inculcate, so he says follow that dharma, that is Vidya Maya, so that ultimately you can get rid of all Maya and transcend all Maya. Idan Bhagavan would ultimate aim. In order to accomplish this, he takes several avatars, and the stories of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are all around those avatars of Bhagavan. That is the first avatara that is discussed. Here is the Varaha avataram of Bhagavan. Bhagavan takes the form of the Adi Varahan, primal boar. Adi Varaha, the original boar. He is not a boar, he is very interesting. He bears with all of us. He is a boar because he bore the earth and brought it up. He bore the earth upon his tusks. He bore down into the oceans and then he bore the earth upon his tusks and brought her out. Adi Varahan, the original boar. How does the story go? Narrate pandra. There are 4 mind-born sons of Brahma. Sanat Kumaras were the first creation of Brahma. We saw previously, Bhagavan created Brahma, Brahma did tapasya, Brahma acquired the boon from the Lord that no matter what happens, as long as he remains true to this truth, as long as he remembers this truth, that Bhagavan alone is everything, he will not be touched by Maya. So now, Brahma starts to create. Brahma, having seen the joy of tapasya, what he wants to do, he wants to get back into tapasya as soon as possible. Originally, this fellow should be creating. Bhagavan should be doing all this creation business. What did he do? He created me, and then he said, now you create everything. He went and reclined on the serpent bed. And what will I do now? I will also do the same thing. I will create somebody and hand over the job of creation to them, and I will go and do tapasya. He produced the Sanat Kumaras from his mind. Sanat is the first name for all of them is Sanat. They are called Sanat Kumaras, Sanat boys. The Sanat boys. Sanagan, Sanatanan, Sanandanan, Sanat. Together they were called the Sanat boys. Sanat boys, they were created as boys and they never grew up. They remained as boys only. And the boyhood, child Maria, small 6 to 8-year-old boys, these were created. So when they were created, Brahma looked at them and said, now you start creating everything. You take over the process of creation. What are you going to do? I want to do tapasya. Then we also want to do tapasya. No, you create. No, we are not going to create. We are going to do tapasya. Many times I have said this. How was creation? The first sons that were created. Brahma was a son. Brahma was a son. The next sons, real creation, Brahma's creation, 4 sons were created who immediately disobeyed their father. Therefore, disobeying one's father is the norm of creation. Bhagavan created Brahma's first creation. Create forget it. But for what purpose? The purpose is for they wanted to realize the truth for themselves. That is why they disobeyed their father, because they said, we want the truth. That becomes the tradition. If you want the truth, you are allowed to disobey your parents also. Not otherwise. So they went away. Brahma became angry. These fellows are not listening. to me. The first emotion that came was anger only. First emotion that came was desire. I want to do tapasya. Adu desire da. La pani mudichite ironu apra enna tapasya venum. No, I want to do this. How so nice it was. I want to go back to it. That's desire. So kama was first produced. After kama was produced, it immediately became frustrated. Forget it. So then in that anger, Rudra came into existence. Rudra came into existence. Shiva came into existence. And because it came from Brahma's Raudram, he is called Rudra. The anger of Brahma gave rise to Rudra. Rudra came there and said, what do you want? I want you to create. But when Rudra thought about it, he saw his elder brothers. What happened to his elder brothers? They made father angry. So I shouldn't make father angry. Very clever for us. The second children are always very clever. There is a saying in Tamil, மூத்தது மோழை இளையது காளைன்னு சொல்லுவா. அதுக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம் அப்படின்னா, the eldest is always blunt instrument, the blunt tool in the house. அது ஒன்றும் வழங்காது, பேன் இருக்கும், திட்டு வாங்கிட்டே இருக்கும். Even if they see in front of their eyes what is annoying the parents, they will continue to do it. The second on the other hand will ஓரமாக பார்த்துட்டே இருக்கும். It will simply watch the interaction. Oh, so if we do this, then they are angry. கரெக்டாக என்ன பண்ணுவோம்னா, it will immediately come to the opposite. So that பத்தியா see அப்படின்னு சொல்லு. Where did this Srishti Krama start? It started right at the beginning of creation itself. The firstborn were all firstborns. மோழைகள். ரெண்டாவது வந்து காளை மேலே உட்காந்துட்டு இருந்தவங்க கூட வந்தாங்க. He also became Rishabha Vahana. Parameshwara, what he did was, Rudra, what he did was, he said, you want me to create? So I'll create. He started creating. What did he create? Bhuta, Preta, Pishasha, ghosts, demons, devils, Allah, he started creating. Brahma looked at that and said, what have you done? You asked me to create, I created. You don't create anymore, you go and sit down. This is what he wanted. He also wanted to do tapasya, but he knows how to do it. The first children, they also want to become sannyasis, but they will go fight with the parent. I want to become sannyasi. No. Second, Kuramal sannyasam. But the second will not even tell. What the second will do is, the parents will be looking to get him married. No problem, do everything. Suddenly, one day it will buy a ticket and go to Germany and become sannyasi there. That really happened. It's a real story I'm telling. So Rudra did this and got out of it. Ibriya creation was somehow going on. Apram Prajapati create panna. Then Brahma created Prajapatis. 3 Prajapati create panna. Daksha Prajapati, Ruchi Prajapati, Kardama Prajapati. 3 Prajapatis were created by Brahma and they were called Prajapati. Praja, English word progeny comes from Praja. Sanskritam word Praja means progeny in English. Progenitor. Prajapati, progenitor, the Lord of Praja. So they were supposed to create. So those 3 fellows said, okay, because Brahma also found out. He created the Sanat Kumaras with Sattva Gunam in them. They were filled with pure Sattva Gunam. So when they were asked to do anything, they said, can't be bothered. We want to do tapasya. Rudra was created from a Tamoguna aspect of Brahma. Therefore, he went and created all kind of perverted creation. He found out, if I want action to be done properly, I have got to fill this fellow with Rajas. Daksha create. Daksha was one of the top progenitors. Prajapati. These Sanat Kumaras anyway. Let's come back to the story of Sanat Kumara. These 4 fellows wandered about here and there trying to find the truth. A separate story goes how Dakshinamurti came and gave the truth to them. Ramana Bhagavan used to narrate the story very beautifully. After having attained the truth and everything, one day they went to Vaikuntham to have darshan of Bhagavan, Srimad Narayana and Vaikuntham. They crossed all the various gates to Vaikuntham. We got to understand this also correctly. Vaikuntham na enna paakkanum. Vaikuntham na oru edam illa. Vaikuntham is not a place. Nor are there 7 gates to cross the Vaikuntham. Idella nammude oru spiritual status. All these are our own states. One may consider them to be the 7 chakras in the body as 7 states to cross and go, or some other interpretation can also be given to it. Saptaham Bhumikas and many such 7s are there. Having transcended all of that, beyond that is the Brahman in the form of Bhagavan. But these 4 boys came across all of those, crossed all those obstacles, obstructions, etc., and finally arrived at the final gate of Brahman. Thandina Paramad. There were 2 guards, Dwarapalakas were there. 2 gatekeepers of Bhagavan were there, Jaya and Vijaya were their names. They were Bhagavan's servants. And when these 4 suddenly came and said, we want to go inside to see the Lord, no, you cannot go in. Not now, come back later. Really, why? There is no real reason why. But generally, when you have somebody in a position of power, they may be sitting in a small cubicle, but they think that is their kingdom. And if you stand outside that cubicle wanting something from them, he may probably earn a fraction of your salary, he probably has a fraction of your education, he probably has a fraction of your intelligence. He is sitting in that cubicle, you have to be outside, you need him to stamp something. You have to stand there, he will look at you, the nature of ego is like that. Ahankaram takes all of these formats. Jaya Vijaya also looked at these Sanat Kumaras and they said, no, you can't go in now. Why not? Because we said so, can't go in, go. We can't let you inside. Bhagavan is resting now. Sanat Kumaras were very angry. They've come with so much anticipation, one more gate and we will see Bhagavan. That is all, we're almost here. With a great build-up they have come. Now when they have stopped, they became very angry. Hey, how dare you stop us? Who are you to stop us? Do you even know the nature of the Lord who is inside? He is waiting to see people like us. He is waiting for devotees. How can you stop us like this? Even though you are servants of the Lord, even though you are here in Vaikuntha, still you lack the basic qualities that are mirroring his qualities. You should be like him. Avaroda quality enna appadina, he never sees any differences between antaram pakamata. Nahyantaram bhagavati. Bhagavan never sees differences. Anand, you are seeing differences. Adanale we curse you. You may be born upon earth, which is the place where duality exists, where you will be filled with differences. Go. Angada, you will have all these kind of enemy, self, others, ours, our people, other people, all this nonsense will be there. You go and be born there. Abdin they cursed. Jaya Vijaya did not realize that they were dealing with tough people here. Vananacha kick them out, they will go away. These fellows cursed them back. You look like we have kicked an iron board. They fell at the feet of Sanat Kumaras and they said, please forgive us. We, in our ignorance, our arrogance, we behaved badly. But you are great people, you should please forgive us. When they started to repent and lament, Sanat Kumaras also suddenly had a bit of an introspection going on. They said, why did we come here and become angry? They were peaceful everywhere else. In Vaikuntham they came and became angry. The place where you are supposed to be peaceful, there you are angry. Everywhere else they were going around very peacefully, giving blessings to everybody. They came to Vaikuntha and gave a curse. Who are we to curse those who are here? Bhagavan has appointed them, who are we to send them out? What came into us? Why did we behave in this manner? They also started questioning. Jaya Vijaya also started to question within themselves, why did we behave like this? What caused us to behave like this? We've never stopped anybody. Why did we stop them? Adhu such great Mahatmas. Both of them started to introspect on their own behavior. So as they were thinking like this, Bhagavan, Krishna Prasada Sumukam Sprahaniya Dama Snehavaloka Kalaya Hridi Samsprishantam Shame Prutu Pritavurasi Shobitaya Shriya Swaschudamanim Subagayantam Ivatmadishnyam. Bhagavan came and stood there in front of these 6 people. Ever desiring to give good to all his devotees, Bhagavan appeared there. Padmanabha appeared there. Bhagavan ennodane, the Sanat Kumaras looked at him and started to praise him in various ways. Aha Nikriyapa, Pita and the Pitambaram enna, Vaijayanti Maladharam enna, Shankachakra Gadadharana enna, all the various insignia of Srimad Narayana were all seen. They praised him and fell at his feet, felt great delight and joy in their hearts for having finally secured his darshan. These 2 fellows are standing shamefacedly. Bhagavan again, I know everything has happened. I know everything that has happened. And I feel sad in a way that you have come to this abode and you've been insulted like this. The mistakes of the servants actually belong to the master only. I have not trained them properly in theriyarthu. Adanala whatever punishment you want to give me, you give it to me, I am glad to accept it, அப்படினு Bhagavan said. In fact, for your sake, if you want me, I will cut off my right hand and give it to you, அப்படினு Bhagavan சொல்றார். Sanat Kumaras கிட்ட பகவான் என்ன சொல்றார் அப்படின்னா, உங்களுக்கு பண்ண அபராதத்துக்கு I am willing to even cut off my hand and give it to you அப்படின்னு. பகவானோட ஓன் வார்த்தைகள் இதெல்லாம் பாருங்க. தத்வ பிரசாதயாம் யத்ய பிரம்மதெய்வம் பரம் ஹிமே. நீங்கள்லாம் எனக்கு you are all like Brahma, the supreme deities to me. Brahmanas, you are a supreme deities to me. அதனால whatever insult has been meted out to you, this is like almost I have done it. Therefore punish me if you will அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். சிந்தாம் ஸ்வபாஹுமபி அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். I will cut off even my own hand if you want அப்படின்னு. அவா சொன்னா, பிரபு what is this? What are you speaking? What kind of words are these? அப்படின்னு அவா கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆயிட்டா. Sanat Kumaras became confused சொல்றது பாகவதம். ஏன் அப்படின்னா பகவான் is uttering these words அப்படின்னு அப்பதான் புரிஞ்சுது அவளுக்கு. Then they understood what Bhagavan is also trying to hint. What is our attitude? How should our attitude be? Bhagavan is showing us. இவா பாட்டு கோவம் வந்துடுத்து, they did all kinds of things. Bhagavan on the other hand did not feel angry. Hey, you came to my house and you are cursing my servants. Who are you? I will curse you back அப்படின்னு பகவான் சொல்லல. Bhagavan said, I will cut off my hand அப்படின்னு சொன்னார். அப்ப இவா நினைச்சுண்டா, how should we have behaved in the first place அப்படின்னு இவாளுக்கு தோணித்து. The lesson came to them. Bhagavan said, very good, no problem, doesn't matter, you go. I will look after everything, I'll take care of everything. Sorry Bhagavane, we didn't. It's okay, fine. Bhagavan gave darshan, they went away. After they went away, these two fellows looked at Bhagavane and he looked at them and said, hey, don't worry, it is all my drama only. Otherwise, without my sankalpa, neither will you behave in this manner, nor can they behave in this manner. I enacted this drama for a very special, specific reason. I want to do Loka Kalyanam. I want an excuse by which I can descend upon the earth, take avatars, several avatars upon the earth, so that I can enact these leelas and help people become closer to me. Adukku you are all instruments. So don't think of yourself as being bad. You are merely an instrument. Identity cholung parungo, you can come in every way. I am a servant of yours, I behave like this. Our identity. What can I do? Whatever I do is done by you. For what? Some purpose of yours is being served by even the vilest of our behaviors. Until then we think, I should behave like this, I should behave like that, I should speak like this, speak like that. Bhagavan is so intelligent that he can use even our vices for his own use, for his own purpose. Bhagavan looked at these two boys, Jaya and Vijaya, these two boys, and said, I give you a couple of options. One, you go and be born on earth for a long period of time. You come back to me. Otherwise, you do one thing. What? You take only 3 births. But in those 3 births, you hate me. You should hate me. With hatred, you can come back to me. This is one. Sambramba Sambrita Samadhi Anubhadda Yogam. That's a yogam. Sadharana yogam illa. Bhagavad Gita la bata chinna yogamgal da. Bhakti yogam, jnana yogam, karma yogam. Ana specifica Bhagavata yogam. Sambramba Sambrita Samadhi Anubhadda Yoga. What is that yoga? Union with God through intense hatred of the Lord. Through intense anger, intense hatred of the Lord, you attain him. But this is a shortcut. You need only 3 births. You hate me and you come back to me in 3 births. What do you choose? This is a bit painful, this choice. We would naturally want to love you, we've always loved you. But because we love you, we want to hate you. By hating you, if we can come back to you quicker, then that is what we choose. Rather than love you and stay far away for a long time. I am a devotee, I am also a devotee, I will go to temple. I don't want to be like that. Whatever I do, I have to do it intensely. Can we have intense bhakti for 3 births and come back to you? No, sorry. It's a curse, not a reward. Adhanal you have to be punished. So either you stay there for a long time with dhimi, somewhat, moderate, mediocre bhakti. like all people have on this earth and keep being born again and again. Bhakti, they have bhakti, but what is the use? They are born again and again. Or you should have intense bhakti, burning of bhakti. That's not for you now. So then what else? Intense hatred is the other option. Intense anger is the other option. They said we'll choose that. That is the love that they had for Bhagavan. The love that they had for Bhagavan was so much that they were willing to hate him if it will bring them closer to him sooner. Adhanala they chose that option. Bhagavan also said, all right, you will be born, all 3 times you will be born as brothers. Closer closer. First birth, you will be born as Hiranyakashipu, you will be born as Hiranyaksha. And in order to put an end to you, I will take 2 avatars, not just 1. First Hiranyakshana kondu Varaha avataram panni Hiranyakshana kondu. Second avataram I will come and destroy. Hiranyakashipu as Narasimha, 2 avataram. Then you will be born as Ravana and Kumbhakarna, brothers again. At that time I will take avatara as Rama and come and put an end to both of you and bring you back. Third time you will be born as Shishupala and Dantavakra. Shishupala and Dantavakra, at this time I will come and as Krishna avataratala, I will bring you back to me. And this is the three times, and you can then come back to me permanently. Bhagavan gave them a promise. So they were also happy with that promise. They, because of their curse, they were born upon earth. Kashyapa was another Prajapati. Kashyapa Prajapati had many wives. Diti was one of the wives. Aditi was another wife. Adila, Kashyapa Prajapati's wife Diti gave birth to 2 boys, twins they were, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyakashipu அப்படினா golden cot அப்படினு அர்த்தம். கஷிப்புனா காட்னு அர்த்தம், bed. Hiranyana gold, so gold bed அப்படினு அர்த்தம். Hiranyaksha அப்படினா அக்ஷானா ஐஸ், Hiranyana gold ஐஸ் அப்படினு அர்த்தம். அப்ப என்ன அர்த்தம் அப்படினா luxuryன்னு அர்த்தம். They wanted luxury, golden bed, golden ice அப்படினா என்ன அர்த்தம்னா they craved for bodily pleasure அப்படினு அர்த்தம். So if you are craving for bodily pleasure, what does it imply அப்படினா we are all daityas அப்படினு அர்த்தம். அசுராஸ்னு அர்த்தம். Rakshasasana. These 2, how were they born? Remember, Bhagavatam says they were born and immediately grew up. They were born and immediately grew up. And the Artha Kshaname, diaper la matave vandama. Kashyapa Prajapati ki nariya savings tha. Hena paadi pe diaper vangiye bondi edu. ஒரு நாளைக்கு 3 4 5 diaperலாம் மாத்திட்டு இருந்தா என்னைக்கு எவ்வளவு வாங்குறது? அப்புறம் ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராலர் வேறு, அப்புறம் கார் சீட்டு பிராம் வேறு, அப்புறம் கார் சீட்டு வேறு, அப்புறம் பூஸ்டர் சீட்டு வேறுன்னு ஒன்றும் வேண்டாம். பிறந்தாளா அடுத்த நிமிஷம் பெருசானாளா, இந்த மாதிரி எல்லா குழந்தையும் பெருசாக எடுத்தோன்னா நல்லாயிருக்கும். இது ஒரு different growth hormone they had. They were born as babies, next instant they became grown-ups. Tata baby chodu kalami, they established their own kingdoms and went away. About this Hiranyakshan, what he did was, he was very strong. He wanted to have a fight. He wanted to have a yuddham with somebody just to test his arms, the strength of his arms. The guy was going around asking everybody, hey, will you fight with me, will you fight with me? He came to Varuna, the god of the oceans, and he said, hey Varuna, come, let's have a fight. Varuna sonnamba, you don't fight with me, you can fight in me but not with me. You go find somebody equal to you, only Hari is equal to you, go find Hari. Who is Hari? Where is Hari? I don't know, you better hurry. You will find him wherever. So he was going around looking for Hari. Where is Hari? Where is Hari? But as he was going around like this, he suddenly saw, the earth, Bhuma Devi, earth was there. He hit upon an idea. He said, I will hide the earth. And then Hari might come in search of the earth. At that time I will find him, otherwise I am not able to find him. He took the earth and went and hid the earth under the water. Hid the earth under water. Now, if you are going to use scientific understanding, then you will not understand it, because if you are going to use science to understand spirituality, you are an idiot. Because spirituality is above science. If you are going to use mere science to understand something that is above science, what can we say but that you are an idiot? Earth is hidden in water. How will you hide the entire earth inside water? Upanishad gives us a kramam by which creation was made. Akashat vayuhu, vayor agnihi, agnir apaha, abhyaf prithvi. From Akasha Tattvam, Vayu Tattvam came, from Vayu Tattvam, Agni Tattvam came, from Agni Tattvam, the water Tattvam, Apa Tattvam came, from water Tattvam, Earth Tattvam came. Now creation is proceeding like this. What this man is doing is reversing it. He is taking it and putting it inside. For example, water. If you take water, in the gaseous state, water is as vapor. Because of heat, it is in the form of vapor. If that heat is taken away from it, it becomes liquid. If the heat is further taken away from it, it becomes solid. It is science. Giving science for you. Where is vapor? In space. Vapor is in space. Water vapor is in space, and water vapor is a product of heat. And the heat la adu vapor eduthu. Adilirundhu when you take the heat further out, it becomes liquid. When you take the heat further out, it becomes solid. Appo the solid state is what is referred to here as earth. Appo the earth is going back into water. Appadina enna artham appadina it is heated up and bringing back into water. அந்த மாதிரி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கணும் இந்த தத்துவத்தைகள். So he is hiding the earth tattva back into the jala tattva. That is what he has accomplished. He has done it. Now Brahma, who has been creating everybody, he created Manu. Manu and Shatarupa were created. Manu was the first man. That is why the word man, everything comes from Manu. Appo Manu, the first man, and Shatarupa, the first woman, were created, and Brahma said, now you go and create the human species. Amma Partha, fine, where shall we go and live? Brahma said, I have already created the earth tattva. I have separated earth from water and created it. You go live there. They looked around here and there and said, we couldn't find the earth. Not there. Brahma leaned over from his lotus. Sometimes at home also it happens. Children will search and come and say, I couldn't find it. Then the parents say, no, it is there. We kept it there. It will be there. Find out. No, it is not there. We go and find out. It is actually not there. It is not there. So they were actually justified. They were right. This happens sometimes in homes. So Brahma's children were looking. They couldn't find. They came and said, Illappa, kaanumpa. Hirkada. Na pannenda. Poi parra. Illappa. Appa adri pata kaama kaano. Where did it go? I created the earth. I remember creating the earth. Pannene. Illa pannaliyo. Avake confusion. Brahma confusion eduthu. Pannera pannaliya. Did I create the earth or did I not yet create the earth? To-do list la eduthu paathar. Pannitene. Check box la pannitene. Where did the earth go? And as he was pondering, suddenly, he sneezed. Achun or sneeze on the sneeze, something flew from his nose. When he sneezed, something flew from his nose and everybody started looking a little bit uncomfortable. What is this? Can't you sneeze properly? Or kerchief They thought it was a nose booger. It was not a booger, it was a boar. Nose booger illa nose boar. A small something came out from Brahma's nose and suddenly it started growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Partha, it was a boar and it became the size of an elephant. Where did this boar come from? Mukla nalla irukku paarenga Brahma mukla. Khade irukku boludhu Brahma mukla. So when Brahma looked at this boar boring out of his nose, and he thought, this is something divine in Partha. It was Sakshat Bhagavan himself who was taken an incarnation in the form of a wild boar, a Varaha. Why does he choose to take avatar as Varaha? It is not for us to second guess Bhagavan's avatars. Bhagavan took the avatar as a boar and then dove into the waters, the primal waters, cleaving the waters into two. Ulla Bhonar. Hiranyaksha was the person who was hidden the earth. Bhagavan encountered Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha, Yarani, who are you? Are you Hari? Come, I will fight with you. He started fighting with Bhagavan. Bhagavan in Varaha Rupam also started fighting with Hiranyaksha. The fight went on for a long time. Bhagavan was playing with him. Our Vijaya he is. Bhagavan was playing with Hiranyaksha as though fighting with him. Finally Brahma came there and said, Swami, it is becoming evening. Once night falls, these Daityas will get greater strength and power. Therefore put an end to him before evening comes. Bhagavan also smilingly said, all right. Bhagavan gave him a slap. Hiranyaksha fell dead. Bhagavan then took the earth and carried the earth, balancing the earth between his two tusks. He brought it up. Earth was restored. Brahma and all the Devas praised Bhagavan as the Adi Varaha, as the Yajna Purusha, Yajna Swarupa, Yajna Varaha. Bhagavan was referred to as the Yajna itself. The bristles upon Bhagavan's body were referred to as the kurcha that is used, darba grass that is used in Yajnas. The roar of the boar was like the cadences of the Vedic hymns as the mantras. They are able to see beyond the mere physical form of the boar. They are able to see something much more subtle and esoteric. It is the form of yajna, the form of sacrifice. Abdiya primal yajna was born. This is how yajna was created. And tapas was there. Yajna was created when Bhagavan took the incarnation as Yajna Varaha. Adhikaparam, the formality of performing yajnas became part and parcel of the Vedas. The mantras for the yajna also came from Yajna Varaha Murti. Bhagavan roars lende ella. Ibdiya Varaha Avataram took place very beautifully, very nicely. After Varaha Avataram, Bhagavatam moves on to another story, which is the story of Kardama Prajapati. We said Brahma created 3 Prajapatis in Chennai. Many Prajapatis were created. 3 people were there, Mukhyama. One Kardama Prajapati. Kardama Prajapati was created, and Brahma said to him, you go and multiply, procreate, create more. Kardama Prajapati did not immediately start to do it, and he went and did a tapasya first. Long tapasya he did for many thousands of years. And as a result of that long tapasya, Bhagavan appeared in front of him. And looking at the bhakti of Kardama Prajapati, Bhagavan shed tears. Bhagavatam says Bhagavan shed tears of bliss. And those tears collected and formed a big lake called Bindu Saras. It was called Bindu Saras. Eppadi vandar Bhagavan appadina Chandomayena Garudena Bhagavan stood upon Garuda. Ippadithan Kardama Prajapati is having darshan of Bhagavan. Standing upon Garuda, not even sitting on him, standing upon Garuda, Bhagavan is coming. Kardamarude bhakti ki Bhagavan wishes to give full darshan to him. Adanala Bhagavan is standing upon Garuda with a radiant form as effulgent as the sun, wearing a garland of never fading lotuses, Adhakana lotuses, clad in spotless yellow silks, curly, dark hair forming around a beautiful lotus-like face. Idoda Bhagavan appadi darshan kodukurar Prajapati, Kardama Prajapati. Looking at Bhagavan's darshan, Kardama Prajapati feels complete. There is no desires in his heart at all. Bhagavan is smiling at him, and the Bhagavatam describes that smile of Bhagavan. Manasparsha smitekshanam. Bhagavan's smita, Bhagavan's smile was such a world bewitching smile. What did it do? It goes and touches Kardama Prajapati's heart. It captures Kardama Prajapati's heart. What do you want? Ask for whatever boon you want, I will give that boon to you. I am pleased with your devotion. What boon do you want? When he saw Bhagavan, no desires arose in him, but nevertheless, the reason why he did his tapasya, he still remembered it. Adanala chonnar, Swami, I did this tapasya so that I can get a wife. Thousands of years of tapasya he did to get a wife. Bhagavan smiled once again on hearing this boon. Chirichar. Manasparsha smitekshanam. Bhagavan smiled again and said, you did tapasya for 10,000 years to obtain a wife. People get married without any penance. Kardama Prajapati, if they get married like that, they will get wives also like that. I have done tapasya for 10,000 years. Should I not get a good wife for that? Give me a good wife. Bhagavane, what do I know? I am a fool. I am an ignorant fool of this world. I do not know any better. I did tapasya only to get a wife from you. Humility. You are so merciful, you still come and give your grace to me. But still look at my foolishness. I have done tapasya and asked for a wife. Innocence. Bhagavan was very happy with that innocence. He said, I know why you worshipped me. Don't worry. Tapasya will never go in vain. I will grant you a boon. Manu has a daughter. Manu and Shatarupa have a daughter called Devahuti. She will marry you. She will become your wife. And after you marry her, you will have 9 illustrious daughters. Marry off those 9 daughters to rishis, to the sages. After that, after you have had 9 daughters, I will myself be born to you. I will myself be born to you. Abdina Bhagavan gave a boon to Kardama Prajapati. Although he did tapasya only to get a wife, he did tapasya towards the Lord. Adanala Bhagavan came and said, I'll give you the wife, but as a bonus, Kosuru Shulwali, as a bonus, extra, I will myself be born to you. Prajapati was very happy. He came down, he came to his ashram on the banks of the Bindusara, settled down and did tapasya there. He didn't do anything else. Manu's daughter, Devahuti, he didn't march up to Manu's house and say, Oi, give me your daughter. Bhagavan has said. I've heard of some people say that. One person went to somebody and said, Swami came in my dream and told me to marry you. Marry me. Swami came in my dream and said, you are my husband, so you have to marry me. I don't know whether that fellow married or not, but this happened. Let Swami come in my dream also and tell me, then I will marry you. Otherwise, I can come to you all and say, Swami came in my dream and asked you to give all your property to me. Giving these boons, Bhagavan flew back. Kardama Prajapati went and started doing his tapasya. Narada went to Manu's house. Saw Manu. Narada was like an elder brother to Manu. Brahma's first son, one of Brahma's sons is Narada. Brahma's other son is Manu also. Vallam brothers Madri. Again, the Ponar Pata, Devahuti was there. He said, oh, this Devahuti has got a husband waiting for her. Bhagavan himself was given the boon, Kardama Prajapati. Adanala, you go to Kardama Prajapati and offer your daughter Devahuti to him in marriage. Manu was also looking for an ideal husband for his daughter. Now that match has been made by Narada, him and his wife, Shatarupa and Devahuti, all three of them went to Kardama Prajapati's hermitage. Partha, or what every emaciated by tapasya he is. Dhadi Mishima, not a very handsome looking young man. He's looking old, in fact, because of all his tapasya, all the matted hair, everything that has grown in him. Manu had a bit of doubts. My daughter, should I give my daughter in marriage to this kind of a person? He came there and said, Namaskaram, I heard that you are ready to get married, so I brought my daughter Devahuti to give in marriage to you. Yes, Bhagavan also said that. All right, he accepted. But Manu still had doubts. He looked at Devahuti, Amma, are you sure? Now that you have seen him, are you sure? Devahuti said, Narada himself has said that he is my husband. You have also agreed to that. Therefore, I do not have any complaints. I shall take him as my husband. So the marriage of Devahuti and Kardama Prajapati took place very nicely, very beautifully. She was sent to the ashrama, and despite coming from a royal palace and so on, she said no to all of those riches. She went as a normal woman to the husband's house. As he lives, I will live. She adopted the tapaswini lifestyle that he was also having. Years passed. The story Bhagavatam says countless years passed. She hardly had any interactions with Kardama Prajapati, it seems. But one day, Kardama Prajapati happened to open his eyes from tapasya when he saw an old lady standing in front of him. Vaishana party. Old lady, hair and all grey, wrinkles everywhere. Old sari. Armani, who are you? What do you want? Swami. Mami, ni yaru. Mami, who are you now? Swami, don't call me Mami, I am your wife. I am Devahuti. In the years that had passed, Devahuti had actually become old. Kardama Prajapati did not even bother about her. He was just doing tapasya only. When he suddenly saw her, he said, Chucho, you have become like this. I have neglected you. All this time I have neglected you. Not right. You do one thing. You see these Bindusaras, you go and take a dip in the Bindusaras. Go. She already has had a shower. But what kind of a wife is she? She is the kind of wife who said, if you say so, okay, she immediately went and had a dip. Other wives will say, why? Just now I had a shower. Why again go and have a shower? What's wrong with you? Those are not wives. Those are knives. That is not a wife, it is a knife, it has come to give you strife. This wife, this wife. Kardama Prajapati neglected her not because of his selfishness, he neglected her because of his tapasya. That she understood. And she was not an obstruction to his tapasya. She kept quiet by the side without opening her mouth once. She just lived her life quietly. Abdiye chumma putting up with everything she lived. As a result of that, now see what is going to happen. Kardama Prajapati says, go and have a dip in the Bindusara. She went and got into the Bindusara. When she got up, she regained her youth. The years had rolled back. She walked out with all her youth. Partha, when she came back, Kardama Prajapati also had, with his tapashakti, changed himself into a young man. He created a flying Vimana. And he said, come with me in Chalut. He took her all over the world. All the divine gardens. Indra's garden, Shiva's garden, Kailasham Bhagatla, Kubera's garden. They sported happily. Countless years rolled by happily for them. 9 daughters were born. As Bhagavan said, 9 daughters were born. Ella achi. Appo, when all this happened, he had lived for a long time in his household as a householder. But having completed all of that, now he said, now it is time. I have given you your joys. I've made you a mother. I've given you a beautiful palace. I've given you a lot of servants. I've given you clothes. I've given you riches. I've given you all of that. Now it is time for me to take sannyasa. So give me permission. I will take sannyasa. Swami, I married you not because you will give this palace and give all these things to me, because all this I already had with my father. I married you looking at your Brahma Tejas. I married you looking at the devotion that you had. I married you for your spirituality. Therefore, do not cheat me by giving me only worldly prosperity, give me spiritual knowledge. Not only that, I have 3 requests from you. She said, I have 3 requests from you. Up until now, she had not opened her mouth and asked anything. Now she says, I have 3 things. What 3 things? She said, 1, we've got 9 daughters. As a father, it is your responsibility to get them married. This is my first request. Second, when the daughters get married and you go away, you're willing to go away, take sannyasa, I'm not going to say no to you, you go. But when my daughters get married away and you go, I'll have the totally empty nest syndrome. Absolutely empty nest. Adanal, I need somebody to support me. Give me a son to support me, to be with me, to look after me. Thirdly, give me jnanam. I'm going to get out. First was her duty and responsibility as parents to get the daughters married. Second was a son. And I want a son, I desire. Third, jnanam. 3 things she asked. Kardama Prajapati said to Devahuti, you are very wise indeed for having asked. You never asked, but when you asked, you ask righteous things. It is my duty. You should not even ask. I have failed in my duty. If I want to walk away with 9 daughters in tow, that is not right. I will get them married. Don't worry. Rishis were called and these 9 were given in marriage to Rishis. Kala oru ponnu, he gave Kala in marriage to Marichi. Anasuya was one of the daughters of Kardama Prajapati and Devahuti, who was given in marriage to Atri Bhagavan. Atri and Anasuya, to them was Dattatreya. The Lord was born as Dattatreya to them. To Angira, he gave his daughter Shraddha. To Pulastya, he gave his daughter Havirbu. To Pulaha, he gave his daughter Gati. To Kriya, he married off Kriya to Kratu. Khyati to Bhrigu. Arundhati was given in marriage to Rishi Vashishta. And the Shanti was given in marriage to Rishi Atharva. 9 daughters. And the 9 daughters, all of them are famous. Two of them are extraordinarily famous. Arundhati, Vashishta's wife Arundhati, and Anasuya, Atri's wife Anasuya are very, very famous. They are known to be exemplars among women. They take after their mother. They took after their mother. How was the mother? No matter what the husband did, she kept quiet. As a result, what happened? She gave birth to daughters who excelled her in her Atriya Pati. Bhagavane cholra Atri Anasuya Pati. We hear the story of Atri and Anasuya in Ramayanam, how Anasuya is praised, how Sita praises her, Rama praises her, ellarum praise pandra. Arundhati is every, in our normal Hindu traditional marriage, when the husband and wife get married, the husband shows the Arundhati star to the wife. Look at that star. That's our role model. Like that Arundhati always with Vashishta, always be with me, I will also always be with you. An agreement is signed between the husband and wife by showing Arundhati as the witness. If husband and wives are like this, who are born to them, these kind of 9 daughters will be born, and finally a son, I want a son. Kardama said, Bhagavan himself will be born as a son. Throughout Bhagavatam, throughout all these stories we find, wherever there's a Pativrata Stri, Bhagavan chooses to be born as a son to her. Sometimes women may have question, why the hell should I put up with my husband? If you're willing to put up with your husband, God himself will come to you. If you want God, you can put up with your husband. If you want my freedom, my independence, my nonsense, you can always remain with your nonsense only. Many, many times I've established this, I've said this. It is not just some kind of a patriarchal dictate only for women. This is the paddhati for everybody. The man surrenders to the Guru. The man absolutely obeys the Guru, does not go 1 inch away from what the Guru instructs him to do. He is not free either. He is not free. He is bound to the Guru. The woman is not free either. She is bound to the husband. The children are not free either. They are bound to the parents. The man listens to the Guru, the woman listens to the man, the children listen to their parents, and the Guru listens to God. Nobody is free. I am free. I am my independence. If you want true freedom, then you have to give up this fake freedom. If you hold on to this fake freedom, you will never have true freedom. True freedom is mukti, moksha, liberation. If you want that freedom, this idea, this egoistical idea of freedom has to be given up by us. Otherwise, we will not get that freedom. This is the standard message in all the stories we will find. I am not sitting here on a high pedestal and telling all the women, listen to your husbands. It is not a male-dominated dictate. No. For men also, this dictate is equally applicable. Who should they listen to? Listen to the wife. They were not asked to listen to the wife. In an interview, I think it's there in Conversations with Satyasai Baba, Hislop's book. Something about family is coming up in there. Prior to that, Swami was talking about how everything is God, everybody is God, everything is God. Then the conversation moves on, and Swami about a wife saying you should not come to Prashanti or not come to God. Swami says, doesn't matter, you cannot listen to such a thing, you still have to come. You have to do the right thing, you have to do the spiritual thing. Even if the wife says no, you have to do it. The other person, one of the other people sitting there said, but is the wife also not God? Is the wife also not God? But Swami says that you treat her as God in your heart, but doesn't mean you have to follow everything she says. If you follow everything she says, she will sit on your head. Swami says she will climb up on your head and sit down. Don't allow that. So it is not simply something given only to, a hard command given only to women. This is the command given to everybody. If you start being independent and free, you will only feed the ego. Who seeks independence? Who says, I want it my way? Who is that culprit who says, I want everything my way? Ahankaram dane. Isn't the whole point the loss of individuality? If you feed that individuality on the one hand and then do sadhana to get rid of the individuality, how is it ever going to work? That is why people do sadhana but do not make any progress. If you put the car in reverse gear, even if you drive 100 kilometers, you will not go 1 inch forward. You will only go backwards. You are driving. Petrol is being spent. A distance is being covered. But because the gear is in reverse, you will go backwards, not forwards. Like that also in spirituality. You may be doing sadhana. Hours may be spent in effort, but if the direction is wrong, then where will you go? What progress can you ever make? That is why you should have discrimination and know what you are giving up in the short term and what you are gaining in the long term. What are you giving up by listening to your husband, for instance, for women I'm saying? You are giving up your ego. What else are you giving up? What are you giving up when you listen to the Guru? You are giving up your ego. What else are you giving up? Is that not the purpose, giving up that ego? For those who wish to give up the ego, they should take this as a sadhana in their life. That is why you do not need to go and do separate sadhana somewhere. Your family is sadhana for you. Your family itself is sadhana for you. Learn to use the family as a means of getting rid of your ego, so that Bhagavan will come closer to you. In the end, you may achieve success over your husband in a short term. What is the use? In the long term, you lose Bhagavan. How long is this husband for? How long is this wife for? As long as you live in this earth only, no? After you die or after they die, this relationship is gone. Who's going to say what to anybody? After that, you will regret. I should have treated them better. What is the use of all of that? Our ultimate relationship is only with God. And that relationship can be made real only when the obstruction called ego is destroyed. So to destroy that ego, let life bring all that which it is bringing to you. Let it bring it. Accept it. And treat with it correctly. Don't let it take you away from God. Adhikaha, don't let it take you away from God. That is always the goal. But use it to smother this ego. Use it to destroy this ego. Use it to make this ego nothing so that that individuality is lost. After the daughters were given in marriage, Bhagavan appeared as Kapila to Devahuti and Kardama. He grew up, they lavished their love and affection upon him. He also gave his love to them. They were beautiful. And Bhagavan Sakshat, Kardama knew this is Bhagavan. Devahuti did not know. Kardama knew this is Sakshat, the Lord himself. So one day Kardama approached Bhagavan in solitude and said, Swami, I did tapasya for thousands of years and you appeared at that time. And you gave me several boons. You gave me this boon also that you will be born to me. Now that you are born to me, please give me permission to go and seek you through the path of tapasya. He wants permission to leave and go and become a sannyasi. Who is he seeking permission from? His own son. Bhagavan in the form of his own son. So we might think, Bhagavan is born in your house as a son. Why do you want to leave him and go into the forest to take tapasya, to do tapasya as a sannyasi? Every time I look at you, I only think of you as my son, not as the Lord. Maya is very strong. So while I am here, I like it, I enjoy it, I am happy, all of that is there, but the Maya that you are my son also continues along with me. If I want to get rid of that Maya, then I have to go and meditate on you in your reality, in your true form. Give me permission to go. And Bhagavan smiled and said, yes, go. I give you permission, go. Don't worry about mother. I will look after her. I will grant her jnanam. I will liberate her. Bhagavan gives that promise to Kardama Prajapati. And he says, you go and do tapasya, you will attain me. What should you do so that you can accomplish this truth? Bhagavan himself gives him the guidance. Surrender all actions to me. Think of me all the time. See me in your heart. See me everywhere. You will attain me. Surrender all your actions to me. Think of me all the time. See me in your heart. See yourself in me and me inside you. You will attain me. Kardama Prajapati takes this instruction on board, goes away, attains the Lord by his tapasya. Inge, Devahuti is left with Kapila. Before going, husband Kardama Prajapati told Devahuti, Amma, you wanted jnana as your third boon. 3 things you asked me. One was the daughters getting married, that has happened. A son has also been born. Third thing you wanted was jnana. Don't worry, our son is not an ordinary boy. Don't take him to be an ordinary boy. He will give jnana to you. Naturally, Kardama went away. Devahuti is sitting quietly by herself one day, feeling a bit lost. She was always, her husband was there, she was doing things for him, now he's gone away. So nothing for her to do. Appa suddenly she remembered husband saying, this boy is not ordinary. He will help you attain the truth. She called Kapila, come here. Kapila, yes, Amma, what do you want? He came there. Then she suddenly realized, I'm calling you as the son. You're not the son. You're not merely a son. You're Sakshat Bhagavan himself. Father has said it. I should not make this mistake and think of you only as a human being. Don't bind me in Maya. Instead, teach me the truth. She addresses him in a very nice way. Tam tva gataham sharanam sharanyam swabhritya samsara taro kutaram jignasayaham prakrite purushasya namami saddharma vidam varishtam. She says, Kapila, don't think of me anymore as your mother and don't delude me by being simply my son. I know who you are. Father has already told me about your nature. Swabhritya samsara taroho kutharam. Mothers usually look at their child and say, Kanne maniye mutte manikame pavlamene choluva. My dear, my darling, my sweetie. Devahuti is the only mother who looks at her son and says, you axe. Axe. Kutaramna axe. Enna kutaramna. What is the axe used for? It is used for chopping the tree down. What tree? Swabritya samsara taroho kutaram. Taru abdina tree. What tree? Samsara taru. The tree of samsara. You are the axe that is capable of chopping the samsara tree. Adanala tam tvagataham sharanam sharanyam. Even though she is the mother, she says, I surrender to you. Teach me the truth. I surrender to you. Teach me the truth. Show me the way. Show me the truth. So here is a situation where the son teaches the mother. The situation comes back again many yugas later. Yengenna, when Ramana Bhagavan teaches his mother, Alagamma, Epume in the we usually do this. It's most appropriate. Once Ramana Bhagavan was sitting on, as usual, on his rock in Skandashramam, his mother Alagamma had come and joined him in ashramam. Initially, she wanted Bhagavan to come and be with her, but later on she realized Bhagavan's glory, Bhagavan's greatness. Adanale she came and was with him. There was a lot of hardship there. In fact, only men folk were there at that time. And when she said, I will also join you, some of the men were hesitant. They said, no, women and all cannot stay here, get out. But Bhagavan intervened and made her stay. But this was her tapasya, this was her vairagyam. When her younger son came and said, Amma, it is difficult for you here, you come with me. I said, I'm not going to come. Even if I die, I will not leave this place and come. And she looked at Bhagavan and she said, if I die, even if I die, just throw this body into the thorny bushes. You don't have to do anything for me. Bhagavan was so detached, and if she stays here, then she becomes a responsibility for Bhagavan. Bhagavan has to do the funeral rites. Bhagavan will not be interested. Bhagavan may say, no, you go with the younger brother. In case Bhagavan might say, she said, don't send me away. Don't send me away. I want to spend the rest of my life here only. Even if I die, I should die here. And when I die, don't worry about disposing the body. Just simply throw it into the thorny bushes. It is fine. But don't send me away. Apradanga Devahuti also says, Sharanam Sharanyam, I've surrendered to you. You alone have to emancipate me. The way Alagamma did to Bhagavan, Devahuti does to Kapila. So Bhagavan said, all right, stay. She was staying. One day, as the woman in the house, she was doing a lot of activities she used to do. Once she came, cooking started. There was no cooking, only begging was going on. When Alagamma came, cooking started. Annapurna Madri, she came and started cooking. Slowly vessels came, provisions came, all these things started to come. One day it so happened, lot of flour was there. Urad dal was there. Amma enna thonithana la arachi we can make appalam with it. She had an idea. Let us make appalam. Bhagavan themena ukandundirukku. Bhagavan was sitting quietly. In the old memory, how it is. He said, why don't you come and help me? We'll make appalam. We'll make appalam. Appalam has to be ground into a paste. Then it has to be made into round things and dried in the sun. If it is not panna, appalam will be made. Why don't we make appalam like this? Come and help me. You're simply sitting there. Come and help me. Idha ammakal. Summa varum. நான் செத்தாலும் சரி அங்கே போடு இங்கே போடும் அப்புறம் அப்பளாத்தை பண்ணி கொடு இல்லை அப்பளாத்தை பண்ணி கொடு சும்மா தானே உட்காந்துருக்கேன் ரெண்டு அப்பளாத்தை எடுத்துக்கூட வாயேன். That is why those people knew this. They said, no, send this lady, don't keep her here. அப்படின்னா வாழலாம். அப்புறம் நீங்களே அப்பளம் பண்ண வேண்டிய ஆயிடும் சுவாமி. அப்போ Bhagavan looked at her and said, what do you want me to do? Let us make appalam. அப்போ Bhagavan said, you make your appalam, I will make my appalam. You make your appalam, I will make my appalam. And actually Bhagavan wrote what is called as the appala pattu, the appalam song. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு. You make the appalam and see and eat. After eating it, you finish all your desires off. Chapitun ashayi teetuko. You eat it and finish off all, quench all your desires. What appalam? The normal appalam will not quench your desires. You make normal appalam, you won't eat more of that appalam. Bhagavan wants to make a divine appalam. And so he says, Appalamit pare atai shapitun ashayai teere. What kind of appalam? Ippuvi tannil yengi tiriyamal Sadbodha Sugha Sadguruvanavar Ibhuvi Tannil Yengi Tiriyamal Sadbodha Sugha Sadguruvanavar Sheppad Shonna Tattuvam Agira Opuyarvilla Vor Mozhiyil Padi Appalamit Pare Atai Shapitun Ashayai Teere. We need a recipe for appalam. Who gives the recipe? Bhagavan says here, Ibhuvi Tannil Yengi Tiriyamal. Without going around in this world lamenting and suffering, Sadbodha Sugha Sadguru Vanavar. Sadbodha Sukham. How is the Sadguru? Sadguru is filled with Sadbodha. Satna, the existence. Bodha na consciousness. Sat, Bodha, Sukha na Anandam na artham. Sat, Chit, Anandamana Sadguru. Who is Sadguru? Sadguru Sat, Chit, Ananda Swarupa. And the Sadguru gives the recipe. How does he give the recipe? Generally the recipe is told inge Sheppad Shonna. Without speaking, he tells you. Sadbodha Sukha Sadguru Vanavar Sheppad Shonna Tattuvam Agira. Tattvam, the highest philosophy. Without speaking it, he conveys it to you. Use that as the recipe. Opuyarvilla Vor Mozhiyin Padi Appalamit Pare Atai Shapittum Ashayai Teere. So follow the Guru's recipe for this appalam. What is the recipe of the Guru? Tanalla Inkosa Kshetramidil Valar Tanennum Manamam Daniya Ulundai. Tanalla Inkosha Kshetramidil Valar Tanennum Manamam Daniya Ulundai. Nanaranyana Vichara Tirigayil Nanalla Yelre Udaitu Poditu. Those of you who can understand Tamil can easily understand. Tanalla, Tan, I, the Aham, the real I. Allah, not that. Ainkosha Kshetram. This body is a Kshetram. Idam Shariram. Kshetramitavidiyate. Bhagavan says this body is called a field. What is this field made up of? 5 koshas. Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha, and 5 sheets, 5 koshas are making up this field called the body. We think we are this body. And we are not this body. We are not this body. Adanala, Tanalla Inkosha Kshetramidil Valar. In this field, which we are not, what is growing? It is an agricultural field. A field, something grows, some crop grows. What crop grows here? Tanalla Ainkosha Kshetramidil Valar Tanyennu Manamam Daniya Ulundai. The black gram, Ulundu, the black gram that is used to make appalam, is growing in this field. What is the black gram that is growing in this field? The ego I is the black gram that is growing up in this field of body. The body la thane aham varudhu. So what should we do? Traditionally, what do we do in this recipe? You take the black gram and grind it into a flour. So what should we do with this? I grind it into a flour. Make it into nothing. For grinding it, we need a grinding machine. And the kalathila yantramnu cholluva, thirigainu cholluva. The 2 stones will be there with a hole in between and a stick to hold on to. One will be fixed, one will be moving, and then they will move the stone round and round like this, putting the grain into the center hole. As it goes inside, it will be ground and flour will be coming out together. So Bhagavan says, use a grinding stone. What is the grinding stone? Nanaren jnana vichara tirigayil. What does the tirige go? Again and again, round and round, round and round, again and again, again and again, it repeats it. What is this repetitive process? Abdina, Nan yar, who am I? 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 Inquiry becomes the action of grinding this ego that is growing in this field called the body. The inquiry itself becomes the grinding stone for it. So, you put this ego into this grinding stone of inquiry and நான் அல்ல என்றே உடைத்து பொடித்து. You break it down. Take this ego and break it. உடைத்து பொடித்து. Break it and render it into flour. அப்படி பண்ணி அப்பளமிட்டு பாரத்தை சாப்பிட்டும் ஆசையை தீர. Fulfill your desire of making an appalam. Don't make the ordinary appalam. Take the ego and grind it and to make the flour with the ego. That be the base for it. Flour is tasteless. It needs taste, ingredients for taste to be added to it. What ingredients for taste? Satsangam pirandai rasatodu. Appalathila pirandai juice is added. Pirandai na or creeper. That creeper is very unique. It grows only in our country. The juice of it is very good for cleansing the insides. If they have a son like that, a child is born like that, the mothers would say, for having given birth to you, I have to put perandai in my stomach to cleanse the whole thing. It cleans the inside. Perandai juice cleans the inside. Cleaning the inside means not cleaning the stomach, cleaning the antakaranam, antakarana shuddhi, chitta shuddhi. So Bhagavan uses the perandai juice to create chitta shuddhi in this divine appalam. What is the perandai here? What is that creeper here? Satsangamagum pirandai rasatodu. Satsangam becomes the perandai juice. What does Satsangam do? Gives chitta shuddhi to us. Satsangamagum pirandai rasatodu samam damamagindra jiraga milagudal. What does the appalam have? If you've seen the appalam, it will have cumin seeds in it and pepper. They are adding taste to it. But what is the spiritual cumin and spiritual pepper here? Samam, damam, sama and dama. Sama equanimity, dama na inner sense control, outer control and inner control. That becomes jiragam and milag. Seer agham abdinu per adukku. It makes the inside perfect. Adu samam abdina. Shama abdingiradhu making the inside perfect. Shama, Dama abdingra qualities are there in spirituality. Shama means equanimity. Shama means inner control. Dama na external control. Inner control is the jiragam, external control is the milag. Samadama mahira jiraga milagudal uparati yaguma uppodu ulla. Salt is also needed, for taste. What is salt? Uparati, retiring from the world is uparati, is salt. Uparati yagum uppodu. If you look at it merely from language point of view, uparati is uppu. Uppu is salt. Uparati is the real uppu. Bhagavan is playing with the words also. Uparati yagum uppodullanal வாசனையாம் பெருங்காயமும் சேர்த்து. நல்வாசனையாம் பெருங்காயமும் சேர்த்துன்னா எல்லாம் தமிழ் தெரிஞ்சவாளுக்குத்தான் புரியும். பெருங்காயம், asafoetida. There is something called asafoetida that we use in our cooking. Hing, inguva. What is the one quality of perungayam? It doesn't have taste, much taste. What is it used for now? Smell only. And the smell is so strong that if you have stored perungayam in a container, no matter what you do, that vasana will never leave that container. Smell-ku vasana nu peru. Vasana also means our impressions. What kind of impression? Nal vasanayam. Good vasanas. Shubha vasanas. moksha vasanas, bhakti vasanas. Shubha vasanayam nal perungayamum சேர்த்து அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு, அதை சாப்பிட்டு ஆசையை தீரு. கல் நெஞ்சில் நான் நான் என்று கலங்காமல், கல் நெஞ்சில் நான் நான் என்று கலங்காமல், உள்முக உலக்கையால் ஓயாதிடித்து. கல் நெஞ்சில் நான் 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 என்று கலங்காமல், உள்முக உலக்கையால் ஓயாதிடித்து. சாந்தமாம் குழவியால் சமமான பலகையில், சாந்தமாம் குழவியால் சமமான பலகையில் சந்ததம் சலிப்பர சந்தோஷமாகவே அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. கல் நெஞ்சு, the stone in which you pound things, it becomes your heart. கல் நெஞ்சு அப்படின்னா make it firm அப்படின்னு அர்த்தம். with a determination in your heart, நான் நான் நான், ஐ ஐ ஐ அப்படிங்கிற என்று கலங்காமல் உள்முக உலக்கையால் break this I down with the inward turned mind. You need a mortar and pestle இருக்கு இல்லையா, ஒரு கிரைண்டிங் மார்டர் வேணும், ஸ்டோன் மார்டர். ஒரு பெசில் வேணும் டு கிரைண்ட் இட், டு மேக் ஆல் தீஸ் ஸ்பைசஸ் இன்டு கிரெயின்ஸ், பொடி பண்ணுறதுக்கு பவுடர். வாட் இஸ் தட் மார்டர் அப்படின்னா, the determined heart is the mortar, it doesn't move. What is the ulakkai which you grind அப்படின்னா, உள்முகம், turning inwards is the ulmukham. How should you turn inwards? Kalangamal, without any let up, constantly go in, constantly turn within. அந்த உள்முக உலக்கையால் keep on pounding, நான் நான் என்று கலங்காமல் உள்முக உலக்கையால் ஓயாது இடித்து, ஓயாது relentlessly pound the ego with determination and effort and inward turned vision. பண்ணா என்ன ஆகும்னா, அப்புறம் you need, now the paste has been made, now it has to be rolled out like a chapati thing, it has to be rolled out. For that what do we need? We need a stone and the என்ன சொல்லுவோம், the grinding pin, rolling pin. We need a rolling pin and we need the stone to roll it in. That is the next thing required. What is it அப்படின்னா, சாந்தமாம் குழவி. The rolling pin is Shanti. Use Shanti as the rolling pin. சமமான பலகையில். Samam, how should this grinding stone be? Flat. In Tamil, the word samam means flat. Samam also means equanimity. With equanimity as the base, with Shanti as the rolling pin, you roll, stretch out, make the rolls of this appalam with it. Bhagavan வந்து சமம், தமம், உபரதி, சமாதானம் எல்லாத்தையும் சொல்றது இங்க. சமத்துவம் எல்லாம், he is bringing all of those qualities here. With that, சந்ததம் சலிப்பர சந்தோஷமாகவே. How is Amma doing now? So much is there, I have to do everything. அப்படின்னு grumblingly she is doing it. Bhagavan is saying, this particular appalam, don't grumble. சந்தோஷமாகவே, சலிப்பு அற, without fatigue, without exhaustion, without complaints, without any grumbling, without whinging, happily roll out this appalam and eat it. Happily destroy ego, happily cultivate equanimity, happily cultivate Shanti, happily cultivate retirement from the objects of this world, happily cultivate the Sadvasana, listen to the words of the Sadguru, make this appalam and eat it. கடைசியில சொல்றார், மோன முத்திரையாகும் முடிவில்லா பாத்திரத்தில், மோன முத்திரையாகும் முடிவில்லா பாத்திரத்தில் ஞானாக்னியால் காயும் நற்பிரம்ம நெய்யதில். மோன முத்திரையாகும் முடிவில்லா பாத்திரத்தில் ஞானாக்னியால் காயும் நற்பிரம்ம நெய்யதில். நான் அதுவாகவே நாளும் பொறித்து, நான் அதுவாகவே நாளும் பொறித்து, தானே தானாக புஜிக்க தல்மய அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. மோனமுத்திரையாகும். மோனமுத்திரை, the sign of silence, is the endless vessel which you take. You light the fire under that vessel. What is that fire? Jnanagni. The Agni is Jnana itself. Wisdom is the fire that you light. Then you must know, you have made the appalam, now you have to fry it and eat it. So you have to fry it. For that, now you have kept the vessel called silence. Endless silence. Mudivilla Patiramna. Endless silence. Eternal silence is the vessel. You have lit the flames of Jnana under it. And you have filled it with the ghee called Brahmam. Brahmam is the ghee. Idila, in the Nayyadil, Than Nan Aduvagave Nalum Purithu. Now do the frying. What is this action of frying? Recognizing that I am that. Recognize that you are that. Fry this appalam. Thane Thanaga. Now you eat this appalam all by yourself. Thane Thanaga. I ingra the Jnana Sthitila irundhu. You eat this Tanmaya appalam. This Ananda appalam you eat. Bhagavan is saying to his mother Alagamma. This is the essence of Kapila Upadesha also to Mother Devahuti. What does Kapila say? Attachment is common to everybody in this world. Attachment leads us to bondage. If you want to get out of bondage, then you must have a different kind of attachment. What is that attachment? Sadhu Samagamam is the attachment. Go and take all the attachment that you have and place it instead on the Guru. Place it in Satsangam. You're attached to family, you're attached to wealth, you have attachment. We are capable of attachment. Attachment is the most easily available, accessible, powerful force in all of us. We become attached like this. All we have got to do is change the direction of that attachment. Attachment towards the world leads to bondage. Attachment towards God, attachment to the truth, attachment to the truthful, attachment to those who are in that state leads us to liberation in the children. Adanala, go and serve them. Go and become attached to Satsangam. Go and become attached to Satpurushas. Serve them. Free yourself from all of these worldly entanglements. And then what should you do? In their company, what is the only thing that they will remind you of or talk to you about? That's the advantage of Satsangam. What is Dussangam? Dussangam is the opposite of Satsangam. Bad company, good company. What is bad company? That which makes you forget God is bad company. That which makes you forget God is bad company. That which reminds you of God is good company. As simple as that. That which eternally only reminds you of God, looking at somebody you are immediately reminded of God, that's good company. Looking at something which makes you forget God, that's bad company. That can be anybody. Can be anybody. Joke shulwalya. A bus driver was a bit of a drunkard, lived a wretched life, died at the same time as a priest. The priest and the driver died at the same time. And they both were taken to the pearly gates, where St. Peter was sitting there with his books to see who should go where. So then he looked at the bus driver and said, "Oh, to the heaven with you." Eventually he sent him to heaven. The fellow had lived a most debauched life. He was only a bus driver. He went to heaven. The priest who had lived his life, ordained as a priest, preached at the church and so on and so forth. He said, "To hell with you." The priest said, "Hold on, what is going on here? Did you get your lines crossed? Did you not take your medicine in the morning? What happened? I am the priest, he is the bus driver. He lived a terrible life. I lived a good life. I should be going to heaven, he should be going to hell. Why did this switch happen?" St. Peter said to him, he would drink and drive. And when he drove, every single passenger screamed out to God. They could never think about anything but God. When you preached, everybody fell asleep. They came to church to think about God, but the way you preached, they fell asleep. And they forgot God. Whereas the way he drove, everybody had to think about God alone. Therefore, he deserves to go to heaven for he Satsangam, your Dussangam, go to hell. So what is Satsangam? That which reminds us of God is Satsangam. Go and join that Satsangam. Seek that Satsangam. Other Sangam is useless Sangam. It only leads to bondage. You think, oh, social life. Now, are you an ant? Are you a bee? That's the social creatures. High will be lead a spiritual life, not a social life. Let spirituality itself become your society. Satsangam is what we should seek. Satsangam kartakaha, what is the meaning of satsangam? Oh, the group is here. There are satsangam. If you all get together and then talk about all kinds of useless things, then you are dussangam, not satsangam. Satsangam is not an individual person. Satsangam is what reminds you of God. Even if you are sitting with somebody who you think is spiritual or is a spiritual group, but you are not reminded of God there, then that is not satsangam, that is dussangam only. Where you have no choice but to be reminded of God, that's real satsangam. Go and seek that satsangam. Satsangatla we have got emancipation. All the evils that are present within us will be destroyed by satsangam. The vasanas that we have within us will be destroyed by satsang. Perandai rasam nu chonnar. Bhagavan referred to it as the cleansing perandai juice. So join satsangam. Seek satsangam. Kapila tells his mother Devahuti, when you do that, you will be reminded of God constantly. Wherever you see, you will have to see only the Lord. In this manner, ultimately, seeing me everywhere, seeing yourself in me, seeing me in all, you will attain the truth. This is the method. Bhagavatam, the method is only one method. He says, everywhere all the same instruction is given. See yourself in me and see me in everyone. See yourself in me and see me in everyone. You see, where are you? You are in him. Where is he? In everything, including you. Upon that I, which wants to be separate from him, which wants to be independent from him, you may say, no, I don't want to be separate from him. I don't want to be independent from him. I never thought like that, you may say. But what does it mean to be separate from him or independent of him? When you are unable to accept what he gives to you in the form of life, then you are already being independent from him. Puriyada? Everybody will say, no, I am also devoted to God. Don't paint me in such a bad black brush. I am also devoted to God, and we feel like saying. But are we? Are we really? Now, what is devotion to God? If you cannot accept what God gives you, how can you call that as devotion? You want things your way. How can you then call it devotion? If you want everything to happen according to His will, then that is called devotion. If you want Him to dance to your tunes, that is not called devotion. If you want things happening your way, that is not called devotion. If things happen according to His way and you are not able to take it, if you are found complaining, whinging and crying and carrying on, that is not devotion. We have to understand what bhakti itself is. Bhagavatam is there to teach us that truth only. Though we are thinking bhakti means singing bhajans. Looking at his picture, putting a flower or two on him, singing bhajans, clapping our hands, singing bhajans once a week. I am very devoted. I am a Sai devotee. Swami writes a letter to his brother in 1945, Sheshamaraju. In the letter, Swami says, I have come to save my devotees, to protect my devotees. Then he adds, and I have my own definition of who a devotee is. My devotee is one who is the same in pain or pleasure, joy or sorrow. He alone can be called as a devotee. Why? Because he understands it comes from me. Therefore, he accepts it with a smile. When it comes from me, why will he reject it? If he rejects it, how can he be my devotee? This is what we have to understand as the mark and the measure of true devotion. Even if we are not there yet, we can start moving in the right direction. And the first step in whatever happens is happening by His will. Learn to accept it. Learn to accept what others do to you. Learn to accept what life brings to you. Learn to accept what you are yourself doing to others also. Hellam Bhagavat Sankalpam. That is why Bhagavatam teaches that lesson. Sanat Kumaras come to Vaikuntham, have a clash with Dwarapalakas. These people behave badly. Those people behave badly. It looks so terrible. In the end, Bhagavan comes and says, I want to create a drama. So I made you behave like this. I made you behave like this. If you accept this, then you are dear to me. That's real bhakti. That is why Bhagavan tells them, to Dwarapalakas, Jaya and Vijaya, Bhagavan gives them a very unique method. Go and hate me, children. Hate me and reach me. It sounds so counterintuitive. Hate me and reach me now. Why? What is this? He says, even that hatred, know that it is from me. எல்லாம் comes from me only. அவனோட ஞானம் அபோகனம் எல்லாம் என்கிட்டேருந்து வருதுப்பா. ஸ்மிருதி ஞானம் அபோகனம் everything is coming from me. மத்த ஸ்மிருதி ஞானம் அபோகனம் ச அப்படின்னு பகவான் says in the Gita. What you remember, what you forget, your knowledge, your ignorance, everything comes from God. Accepting this is the highest form of bhakti towards Bhagavan. I'm a mere instrument. You are making me dance. You want to see a show. Fine. You make me dance. You see the show. Second step in bhakti. I told you there are 3 steps. First step is you think you are independent. Second step, you think you are an instrument. Third step, you realize there is no you at all. It is always only him. In the final state. Slowly we will move towards that. இப்போதைக்கு Devahuti is taught to get rid of her identity by going and merging into Satsangam. Bhagavan says, go and join into Satsangam so that you lose your identity. Whatever they are is what you become. They are constantly thinking about God, talking about God, enlightening each other about the glories of the Lord. Join with them. You also do the same thing. Naturally you will come and attain me. In the form of Kapila, Bhagavan gives us Upadesha to Devahuti. We will stop here for now and go for our short break. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam